Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you has the power to fundamentally alter the trajectory of your entire existence. In 300 BC, a wealthy trader named Zeno lost everything. His boat sank. His cargo disappeared beneath the waves. Every single thing he'd worked for, gone in an instant. And here's what you need to understand. It wasn't his fault. Nature simply decided to take everything from him without warning, without mercy, without explanation. Now, imagine yourself in that position. Everything you've built, every sacrifice you've made, every hour you've poured into creating your life, wiped out by forces completely beyond your control. What would you do? Would you scream at the universe? Would you collapse under the weight of injustice? Most people would, but Zeno didn't, and that decision changed the course of human thought forever. This man used his catastrophe as the foundation for an entire philosophy that has guided humanity for over 2,000 years. He created Stoicism, and at its core lies a truth so simple yet so profound that most people spend their entire lives never grasping it. You cannot control what happens to you, but you possess absolute control over how it affects you. That control is your greatest weapon, and you must wield it with precision and intention. Zeno didn't waste time mourning what was lost. He maintained his composure, remained calm, and moved forward. That's not emotional suppression. That's mastery. Here's what you need to get straight right now. Stoicism isn't about becoming some unfeeling robot who walks through life without emotion. Stoicism is a complete framework for understanding reality itself. It transforms how you process negative emotions and converts them into perspective. And perspective is the single most valuable asset you can possess in this life. Stoics deliberately craft their perspective to serve them rather than destroy them. The Stoics understood something that modern society desperately needs to relearn. Wisdom shouldn't be locked away in ivory towers or reserved for the privileged elite. They taught in public spaces because they believed these principles could benefit anyone, regardless of status, wealth, or background. Epictetus was literally a slave. Seneca was a powerful statesman. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor. The philosophy worked for all of them because truth doesn't discriminate based on social standing. These early Stoics lived what they taught. They fought against inequality when it was dangerous to do so. They invented the word cosmopolitan, meaning citizen of the world, because they understood that artificial divisions between people were exactly that, artificial. They even challenged the sexism of their era, allowing women to study philosophy when society forbade it. This wasn't just progressive, this was revolutionary. So why does Stoicism matter to you today? Because we live in a world of constant, unexpected chaos, and your emotions are sabotaging you at every turn. Understand this. You don't get sad because bad things happen. You get sad because unexpected bad things happen. That's a critical distinction. When you're caught in the rain without an umbrella, you hate it. Yet you don't break down crying when it rains, do you? Why not? Because you've learned to expect rain. You know it's beyond your control. You know it passes. Stoicism teaches you to apply this same logic to everything else in your life. Expect that everything bad that can happen might happen. Visualize the worst outcome and make peace with its possibility. When you do this, you stop being blindsided by reality. One of the most powerful Stoic exercises is voluntary discomfort. Sleep on your kitchen floor. Take cold showers when you prefer hot ones. Eat nothing but the simplest food for days. Why would you deliberately make yourself uncomfortable? Because it teaches you something invaluable. No matter how hard things get, you will survive. You will endure. You might even thrive if your mindset is right. By willingly subjecting yourself to discomfort, you prepare your mind for the inevitable misfortunes that life will throw at you without warning. Right now, you're being bombarded with messages designed to make you feel inadequate. Advertisements tell you that without the next product, the right appearance, or a certain income level, you'll never be happy. Social media constantly reminds you of what you lack. This is psychological warfare, and you're losing if you believe it. You've internalized conflicting messages that create impossible standards. You've set expectations for your life based on external metrics that you don't even truly care about, and then you wonder why you feel empty and disappointed. Stop. Listen carefully. You must improve yourself for yourself. You must do things for yourself, and only for that reason. The moment you attach external hopes or secondary motivations to your actions, you've handed your happiness to forces beyond your control, and those forces will fail you. They always do. People buy fancy cars to fill the void, but cars break down. They buy houses, but natural disasters destroy entire cities. They start families hoping it will complete them, but divorce rates climb every year. Seneca wrote that learning to live with less creates space in your life for what truly matters. That's not about poverty or deprivation. That's about liberation. Your happiness cannot depend on external acquisitions. It must rest on your intrinsic value as a human being and on nothing else. You must train yourself to keep a cool head regardless of circumstances. This brings us to the dichotomy of control, the absolute foundation of Stoic philosophy. Epictetus stated it clearly. Your chief task in life is to identify and separate what you can control from what you cannot control. Determine your value based solely on what you control. Striving toward goals is admirable, but falling apart when things don't go your way is useless, completely useless. Think about creating content online. You form an idea, research it, scrap it because it's terrible, start over, write the script, create the video, edit everything, design the thumbnail, write the title, and finally hit upload. Everything until that moment is under your control. The instant you click upload, power shifts to algorithms and audience behavior, factors you cannot control. Yet most people judge their success based on views, subscribers, and followers, metrics largely beyond their influence. This is insanity. Judge your success based on the effort you invested, the quality of your work, the integrity of your process. Trust the process, not the outcome. Consider someone who works hard for 6 months and feels they deserve a promotion. They present their case to their boss. The boss says thanks, but doesn't grant the promotion. The person goes home convinced they're terrible at their job, but they don't know why they were denied. Maybe the boss was having a bad day. Maybe someone else was better qualified. Maybe the company was losing money. They don't know, but they're still destroyed emotionally. If they had placed their value on the quality of their work and continued doing what earned them consideration in the first place, they'd be fine. The goal isn't destroyed, merely postponed. This reframing of your mindset is everything. The 4 virtues of Stoicism provide your operational framework. Wisdom is separating internal from external and choosing your response. Viktor Frankl said it perfectly. Between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space is your power to choose your response. That space is where you live or die mentally. Courage means persist and resist. Keep going. Push back against what's wrong. Temperance is doing more with less, saying more with fewer words. While billionaires fight over who has more zeros in their bank account, Stoics believe the limit of wealth should be having what's essential and then having what's enough. Nothing more is necessary. Justice is the supreme virtue. It instructs that no one should harm another because we were born for each other, to do good, to serve the collective rather than just ourselves. Nelson Mandela embodied this principle. After 27 years of imprisonment for fighting apartheid, he was released and elected president of South Africa. Everyone expected brutal retaliation against those who had imprisoned him and oppressed his people. Instead, Mandela, who had read Marcus Aurelius throughout his imprisonment, called for reconciliation. He urged his people to relax and rebuild. He recognized that the past was beyond their control and that the only option was moving forward to build something better. This is the way of the Stoic. This is power. Modern medicine has validated these ancient principles. Rational emotive behavioral therapy helps patients identify negative thought patterns causing emotional and behavioral problems. It teaches you to challenge the reasoning behind negative thoughts with logic. And when you realize many are completely unfounded, you replace them with healthier beliefs. Logotherapy operates on the Stoic principle that humans are driven by purpose. Even in the darkest situations, you can fill your life with meaning and happiness by discovering that purpose. To solve your happiness problem, you must practice self-worth. Redirect your definition of value to things you control. Stop fixating on things you cannot control. When you do this, you will lead a happier and more fulfilling life. Stoicism helps you navigate through storms into calmer waters. And if your ship sinks and you drown, you can find peace knowing you lived a good life, even if it wasn't as long as you hoped. Because everything has an end. Everything. Your job isn't to prevent the end. Your job is to live well until it comes. That's all you can control, and that's all you need to control. Now stop waiting for permission to change your life. Start today, this moment, right now. Everything you need is already within your control. If this message resonated with you, if something shifted in how you see your circumstances, then subscribe to this channel. Don't do it because I'm asking. Do it because you're making a choice to prioritize your growth, to surround yourself with ideas that challenge you to become better. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next lesson that could change everything. And if you know someone who's struggling, who's letting external circumstances control their internal peace, share this video with them. Sometimes one idea at the right moment can alter someone's entire trajectory. Drop a comment below and tell me which Stoic principle you're committing to practice this week. I read every single one. Remember, philosophy is useless unless you apply it. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. Now go out there and take control of what's yours to control. I'll see you in the next one.